Okay, first I'm say say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Al Shah Bashim Kakadash. We get the one to elders, apostles, and teachers, great wisdom of Allah and the truth, and say Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. And I'm gonna turn this on not being this scripture right here pretty much. And last night at the sit down, you had one of the older brothers bring out how Elon Musk is an Amalekite. And there's a video that he put, that he showed, and a lot of these niggas in these higher positions are either Amalekites, Jews, or they're linked to these niggas in some way, whether it's like a branch family or whether a family member of theirs owe a favor. But it's even when you go into like these celebrities, right? A lot of them are linked. And you have that saying, it's not what you know, but who gets you places. And what, like Kamala Harris, a prime example, she's a fucking idiot. But she's lit, like if you go to throughout her history, she's fucked her way to the top. That's not just a fancy saying. You know what these older white dudes are doing with these young, what older dudes in general are doing with younger, attractive women at their hip. You know good and damn well what they're doing with them. Don't try to play dumb. You know what those women are trying to get. You know what those men are trying to get. Don't play dumb. She wasn't there for her health. She was there giving out what was between her legs so she could get some type of payoff off of it, whether it be power, position, or money. But, and all these niggas are linked, but I'm just going to go with this Sirach 5 and 15. And you hear us say it all the time, but our people don't, like even Israelites have no idea what's really going on this earth. I was just watching a video. The other Apostle Tahar was it was one of his recent ones that he put out. I think he put out yesterday. But he was going into how Esau is with this RFID chip technology, like Esau is tapping into he's interacting with spirits and trying to tap into like different dimensions and different planes through his technology. And pretty much he doesn't know what he's dealing with. That's something the other Pastor Har was mentioning, how he didn't truly understand, so-called white man, for all of his knowledge that he's been given, he doesn't understand what he's dealing with when it comes to tapping into the spiritual side of things. And that's what he's trying to do through his technology, But our people, they have no idea what the hell is really going on. Whether it be spiritual, which is where our people's strength and gift is, or even in their little physical world. Because I mentioned that because they don't understand what the things is going on with the so-called white man, these different links, and how all of these things, like for example, Elon Musk is some people try to say that you go into the video and you can even look it up. You can even look it up and do your research. It all checks out. But his grandfather, originated in Canada, moved to South Africa. Now they try to say, because that Elon Musk is born in South Africa, but his roots aren't in South Africa. But they'll try to say he was South African because he was born there. Sure, but where do his roots go back to? And his grandfather was a part of this whole social credit system thing. But around like the 1970s, that I forgot the name of the actual party. It was a Canadian party, but the party pretty much died out because people really wasn't having it. But here it is. You have the same thing. This whole social credit system coming back. But and he's really a fucking Jewish. He's really a fucking Amalekite. And all of these niggas like Donald Trump, if I'm not mistaken, he converted to Judaism through his daughter, and I think the name is Jared Kushner or some shit. She's married to a fucking Amalekite too. But those niggas, and like what? I think it's Genesis 18 or 16. How we're gonna have war with Amalek from generation to generation, and these niggas really want to take over the world and destroy our people. But like once again, the only thing our people. This is the importance of listening to the proper men, because obviously we know that like IUIC and ISUPK, who the fuck else, Sakari, like these niggas are all just clowns. But at the same time, these people aren't bringing this type of information out because like this isn't just useless information. Because like when you go into war, what's one of the most, if not the most important things when it comes to war? It's information gathering. And that's with anything. With anything and everything, you need information in order to properly operate. In order to operate, properly within this captivity and to, see what's going on, information is needed. And the information that we bring out, it's not just some pointless, like, little fucking ad libs or tidbits of information. Exodus, Slakia, Exodus. Exodus 17 and 16. For he said, because the Lord had sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And once again, when you go into different captivities, Esau was always had some type of part in these heathen captivities with our people. He's always been a common denominator there. Going to that hatred that this nigga has for our people. And now, what? Trying to tap into the spiritual side of things. Because, like, he has the physical, he has a sword and all this. But he's trying to transcend God and become, he's trying to become God. And rule the world. And rule over our people. And not destroy our people off the face of the map. Not just rule over our people. But that's what this nigga wants to do. And when you go into, like, how you have these Amalekite hook-nosed niggas in all throughout the American government. See, not only is American government indebted to these niggas, but these niggas own your country. And all of you niggas who have money and think America, see all these intelligent, these niggas like Dr. Umar Johnson, all of you niggas who have money, these intelligent, niggas running around social media influencers, these fuckers have absolutely no fucking idea. They're in their own little bubble. They have no fucking idea. With all the money and all the wealth and attention they have no fucking idea what's really going on. They don't know who and like you have a lot of these niggas know that they're Israelites. There's this one old nigga that I watch here and there, and he gives out like useful information and shit. And he mentioned Israelites multiple times, but he talks shit. Like he's an older Rich Jake. A guy who one of them old Rich Jake. Nick married, divorced. He went through his own shit, and now he thinks he's something special because he has some money in his bank account. And like a lot of our people know who the Israelites are, but they either talk shit or they turn their nose up at these facts. And then they act as if all this shit, all of these things that are linking up perfectly is just fucking coincidences. And they don't understand this shit is real. We're not making this up. And Pastor Har mentioned how when it comes to breakdowns of the scriptures, when you go into like the Blue Letter and these Bible commentaries, a lot of the stuff that we say the Jewish people, because like you got these Bible websites that were run by Amalekites or put up by Amalekites. They mirror not everything, of course, but a lot of the things we say they mirror. In other words, he said that this isn't something that we just made up. And if it's something that we just made up and they say the same thing, did they magically make it up too? All of this shit is real. But ultimately, like what was said in the Cap sit down last night, our people are gonna have Second Esdras 9, our people are gonna have to learn through pain. Because our people have a history of being stubborn, and how much more blatant do the signs have to get for you to see? That has to get those signs have to get physical with your flesh for you to see. It's Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And once again, when you go into a war, information gathering is always a thing. When we came out of the wilderness, you had some scouts. What was it? I think it was like 40 scouts went to scout out land of Canaan. And they went, where did they go? They went to get information gathering, intel gathering, to see what was going on, how it was. I think it was 40 scouts, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong about that. But they had, like however many it was, I think it was 40. They had to, gather information. And, before, they went to kick Canaanites' asses. But in war, information gathering is always a thing. Thou has rejected knowledge. And when you have that saying, if you don't know where you come from, if you don't know where you properly come from, you don't know where you're going. And our people, you got niggas like Umar that think that, Pan Africa or whatever the fuck. And here it is, if I'm not mistaken, recently, this nigga is getting, here it is, this nigga is, he's in support of the black woman. But here it is, he got two black baby mamas that's hounding his ass, talking about you need to take care of your kids. But I found that ironic and hilarious. There's pictures of him talking to white women too, just for all you people who believe that nigga. That nigga, he's a nigga. But all the once again, our people, they're destroyed. Why? Because they don't have any knowledge of where they come from, who they are, and where they're going. They think that they're Africans, that their history originates from Africa. What the fuck happened before then? Before Africa? Because man-made history is longer than than a couple hundred fucking years. A couple hundred years, maybe 1,000. It's longer than that. So here it is. You got Edomite history. They say civilization started with the Greeks, which is completely fucking incorrect. Edomite supremacy started with the Greeks, with Alexander the Greek, when they took over Greece, which is originally inhabited by Japhites. So Philip Macedon won. His father, took that over, knocked them niggas out, and that was that. And then Alexander, dominated the world, but the known world. But Edomite civilization started with Greeks. What about before then? Because once again, you go into the Bronze Age, Silver Age, where you had different types of metals were discovered and were prominent and whatnot. There were other civilizations. There were other peoples before the so-called white people came into power. And what were our people doing? We were just Africans? When you go to Africa, you have different types of Africans that are shunned by other Africans. If Jake, right? If a Jake go, you got Jake, they'll go into Africa and they won't be accepted by Africans because they're not the same people. It's not the same spirit. But all these things. This is who we are as a people. How is it that everybody else has a heritage, but we don't. Yet here it is, you have all, all these different artifacts and stones going back into Hebrew. And, once again, this is who we are and this is where we come from. But are people not knowing that? What have they been going to? They've been going from Afro-American to African to niggas to black culture to all these other, calling themselves all these different names. Having no actual footing and grounding. No actual rooted history they can reference. Like what? Their leaders are Martin Luther King, a fucking sellout. Malcolm X, who ended up getting fucking popped by his own posse, who are sellouts. Rosa Parks, if I'm not mistaken, she was a fucking sugar baby. All of these so-called black leaders, like what Umar Johnson, that nigga Pan-African, that nigga like white women. Yet he panders to black women. What Kevin Samuels, right? That nigga, I think he ended up having a fucking heart attack because all them goddamn Red Bulls he was taking. Where do our people, once again, it's so much that our people are missing. And ultimately, really, if technically, our people really just stopped giving a fuck, because like, once again, they didn't have any type of fucking rooting in, they didn't have any type of rooting in who they actually were. Because nowadays, like, niggas really don't give a fuck about history. Our people just gave the fuck up, which is once again why they're losing. Now, obviously, you have the curses, but the curses are a result of our people turning their backs from our power, from who we were. But that was pretty much it. I hope it's fine. It's lucky if I try not to fucking ramble, but I'm trying to make it all go to the point. But hope it's fine. Say all praises, glory, and honor. How about Shema Shah, about Shemaka Dash? Your double on to elders, possible truth, great meals, probably the truth, shalom to hopefully like Israel, instruction, battle on Great America.